I saw a headline the other day that stopped me in my tracks. It said, "Urologists, put THS in your coffee and erections come back even at 80. Now, of course, that kind of title is meant to make you click. It's loud, it's bold, it promises something miraculous. But what really caught me wasn't the claim itself. It was what it revealed about us. About what we long for. Because beneath that headline, beneath the promise of renewed youth, restored vitality, a spark returning to the body, there's a deeper yearning. It's not really about coffee or about chemistry. It's about life. It's about the desperate wish to feel alive again. You see, that phrase, even at 80, carries an ache. It whispers, is it too late for me? And that's a question that lives quietly in so many of us. At some point in our lives, whether we're 30 or 60 or 90, we look in the mirror and realize that something we once had feels far away. The energy, the confidence, the drive, the fire. And the mind starts to wonder if that fire has gone out for good. But here's what I've learned. Through years of talking with people, through listening, through watching what happens when the soul gets tired, that fire never dies. Never. It just hides. It waits. It waits for you to remember who you are. So when I read that headline, I thought maybe the thing we need to put in our coffee isn't a powder, or a pill, or some exotic root from the Amazon. Maybe it's something far simpler and far more powerful. Maybe what we need to add each morning is a drop of presence, a drop of purpose, a moment of truth, because vitality, true vitality, doesn't live in the muscles. It lives in the mind, in the heart, in the choices we make every single day, long after the noise fades and the body begins to change. I've met men and women in their 70s, their 80s, who have more aliveness than people half their age. Their faces glow with it. Their laughter carries it. You can feel it in the way they walk, the way they hold a cup of tea, the way they look you in the eyes and really see you. And when you ask them their secret, they don't talk about supplements or treatments or gym routines. They talk about meaning, about connection, about still having something to give. Because here's a truth the world doesn't tell you often enough. Passion is not a product of youth. It's a product of engagement. When you care about something, really care. When your heart is still curious, when you still have a reason to get up, a reason to learn, a reason to contribute, the body follows, the chemistry changes, the blood flows differently. And yes, science backs this up. The mind and body are deeply, intimately connected. But this is not about biology. This is about belief. Somewhere along the line, many of us were taught that aging means diminishing, that getting older means becoming smaller, quieter, less relevant, less wanted. And we accepted that lie. We internalized it. But I've seen what happens when a person refuses to believe that story. When they wake up one morning and say, "No, I'm not done." You can see it in their eyes. That glint that says, "I'm still here." I remember talking to a man once who had just turned 83. He said to me, "I used to think my best days were behind me. Now I realize they're just different." That sentence, "they're just different," changed something in me. He didn't say his best days were over. He said they had changed. He had stopped measuring his life by the same yardstick. He wasn't chasing the body he had at 40. He was cultivating the soul he'd earned at 80. And that, to me, is the shift we're all invited to make. The thing you put in your coffee, that miracle ingredient, is a mindset. It's a consciousness you add to your morning ritual. It's waking up and saying, "I choose to be fully alive today," regardless of what the mirror says. It's deciding that your worth isn't tied to performance, or virility, or youth. It's tied to your willingness to stay open, to keep loving, to keep growing. Because if you think about it, when do we actually start to age? Not when our hair turns gray, not when our skin changes. We start to age the moment we stop growing, the moment we stop asking questions, the moment we stop forgiving, the moment we stop being curious about life. That's when the inner current begins to slow. So yes, maybe what the urologist should have said wasn't, "Put this in your coffee and your erections come back." Maybe what they meant was, "Put this in your coffee and your aliveness comes back." And it's gratitude, it's humility, it's play, it's courage, it's the willingness to be vulnerable again. Because let's be honest, so many of us lose our spark, not because life is cruel, but because we build walls to protect ourselves from pain. We harden. We say, "I've been hurt before. I won't open again. We say, it's too late for me to change. We say, that part of my life is over. And each time we say that, we close a little door inside ourselves. But here's what's true: life keeps knocking. Every single morning, life comes to your door, sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly, and asks, will you let me in today? And you have a choice. You can hide behind the curtain of fear and comfort and say, no, not today. Or you can open the door and say, come in. Let's see what happens. That's the real medicine. That's the thing that restores not only the body's vitality, but the soul's. I think about people I've known who reinvented themselves in their later years. The painter who picked up a brush at 70 and found color again. The widower who started volunteering and found love again. The woman who learned to play piano at 82 because, as she said, why not? The time will pass anyway. Each of them put something new in their coffee. A spark of curiosity, a dose of courage, a drop of rebellion against resignation. And every time they did, their lives expanded. Now, maybe for you, it's not painting or piano or volunteering. Maybe for you, it's simply choosing to walk outside and feel the sun on your face. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you haven't spoken to in years. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for something you did long ago. That's the beauty of it. The ingredient is different for everyone. But the effect is the same: you feel more alive. And when you feel alive, everything begins to shift. Your relationships deepen. Your energy rises. Your creativity wakes up. Even your body begins to respond to that new frequency of being. See, we often talk about mind-body connection, as if it's something mystical, but it's really quite simple. The mind is the conductor. The body is the orchestra. When the conductor raises the baton with conviction, the orchestra begins to play again. If the conductor says, we're done, the concert's over, the instruments go silent. But the truth is, the music was never gone. It was just waiting for you to cue it. So maybe, tomorrow morning, when you pour your coffee, you can make it a little ritual. Before you sip it, pause for just a moment. Ask yourself, what am I putting into my life today? What's the energy I want to bring? What's the tone of my day? What's one small act of aliveness I can choose right now? Because it doesn't take a grand gesture. Sometimes vitality returns in whispers. A kind word, a new book, a walk, a laugh. Those small things, the quiet choices, they accumulate. They change the chemistry of your soul. And when that happens, you don't just feel younger. You feel truer. And that's really what we're longing for when we chase youth. Not to be young again, but to feel like ourselves again. You remember that, don't you? That version of you who didn't second guess everything? Who laughed freely? Who dreamed wildly? Who believed that life was generous and full of possibility? That version of you still exists. They never left. They're just waiting for an invitation to come home. So invite them. Pour that coffee. Add your secret ingredient, whatever it is. Maybe it's a prayer. Maybe it's a promise. Maybe it's simply a smile. And as you take that first sip, remind yourself, this is my time too. Because no matter how old you are, no matter how long it's been since you felt that inner spark, it's not too late. It's never too late to begin again. In fact, beginning again is one of the most sacred things we can do. Every sunrise is proof that life believes in second chances. Every breath is a quiet invitation to return, to come back to yourself, to your heart, to your purpose. And maybe that's what we've been missing in all the noise, and the quick fixes and the promises of easy rejuvenation. We've been missing the simple truth that what we're searching for is already within us. It's not in the coffee. It's not in the cure. It's in the consciousness we bring to both. Because the body will follow the story you tell it. If you tell it, I am old, I am tired, I am done, it will believe you. If you tell it, I am alive, I am learning, I am still becoming, it will rise to meet you. So speak life into yourself, speak energy, speak faith. Your cells are listening, your spirit is listening. And the world, oh the world, needs what only you can give at this stage of your life, from this depth of your experience. There's a wisdom that only comes from time, from heartbreak, from endurance, from grace. And that wisdom is your power. When you share it, when you live from it, you become magnetic. People feel it. They're drawn to it, because real vitality, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from trying to look young, it comes from embodying truth. And truth, my friends, is the most attractive force in the universe. So the next time you see a headline that promises you a miracle in a cup, smile to yourself. You already know the real secret. You've had it all along. It's your capacity to love, to grow, to begin again. That's the thing that brings life back. Even at 80, even at 90, even at any age. And maybe, just maybe, when you put that in your coffee, and you take that first sip, you'll remember something essential. You are not getting older. You are getting deeper. You are getting clearer. You are becoming more fully you. And that, right there, is what it means to be truly alive. Closing statement. So tomorrow morning, when you stand in your kitchen and pour that coffee, don't rush. Take a breath. Add your drop of presence. Stir in your courage, your laughter, your gratitude. And as that warmth fills your hands, remember, the secret isn't what you put in your cup. It's what you pour into your life. Because when you do that, when you choose to live awake, with heart and purpose and tenderness, everything you thought you'd lost begins to return. Even at 80, even at any age. Because life is still here, and it's still waiting for you to say yes.